Hi, I'm Katie.
And I'm Coley. Welcome to the SVU Coven podcast, little witch detectives.
Hi.
Hi.
Ah,
It's been so
today is
long.
gonna be so crazy.
It's gonna be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Hi guys, we're back.
We're back.
We've been gone for a minute, but it was mostly because we have a very special episode for you today.
Yes.
Um, that we were saving for. So bear with us. We're gonna roll into some things and it's gonna be a little out of order today.
Yeah.
But should we get into our witch talk?
Yes.
Okay. So this is our witch talk. It's the corner of the intro of our show where we catch you guys up on what we've been doing. Um, it's a little redundant because Coley and I talk every day, so we already know these things, but we want to share them with you.
Yes.
Um, so it's been a while since we've recorded.
I don't
Uh,
think we recorded all of November.
yeah, because we made these notes originally a while ago, and I was looking and I was like, oh yeah, the election happened since we've been here.
Yeah.
Jeez. So a lot has been going on. But mostly I have just kind of been everywhere lately. I'm still looking for a new job and dealing with all of that stuff, but my best friend's cat passed away last week, so I actually was in Tennessee for the weekend and just got back because I was spending time with her and being sad.
Yeah.
So it was like a rough weekend, and then I went up to the mountains Saturday night to babysit my dad's dog. So I got to see so many animals this weekend.
Yay.
Um, but other than that, not a ton is going on with me. Thanksgiving is this week, so I'm going to see my family. But,
Yeah.
other than that, nothing too crazy. And then we roll into December.
Yes.
Oh, uh, yeah, and then there's some astrology stuff I'll get into later.
Yeah.
But really, nothing else going on with me. What about you?
So my dear, dear friend passed away on Halloween. Um, And it's not lost on me that she passed away when the veil between the spirit world and our world is the thinnest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, her funeral was the Sunday after, so it was November 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she was a lovely woman, and I miss her already. And it's not even been a month yet.
I know. It feels like it happened a long time ago, and then also feels like it just happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else has happened?
It's been a month of mourning
It's
for
been a
sure.
month of mourning, and um it seems like everywhere I go and everything I do, death somehow plays a role in it.
Hmm.
And it's like, can I get a break, please?
Yeah, it's like, please stop. Thank you.
um,
What
I
else is going?
think that's it, honestly. I had nothing else has really been going on except, oh, I was named state representative for
Oh yeah.
Survivors for Justice Reform, which is a global coalition. You can
Mm-hmm.
follow them on Instagram at Survivors for the number for Justice Reform. And I was chosen as one of the New Jersey state reps for that. And I'm excited about it.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And I got to write a piece about my friend for the Joyful Heart Foundation blog. It's not up yet though, but when it is, we'll post something about it on
Yeah,
the
for sure.
Instagram page.
Especially because like that's so university
Yeah.
for SVU Coven.
Yeah.
But yeah. I hate that both of our updates were death.
Yeah.
We are thriving over here.
Seriously.
Uh, um, but yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Should we get into our Mariska and SVU corner?
Yeah, something happier.
So, you may not like this, but Mariska went to the Eras tour in Toronto
Hmm. I
with
saw that.
Peter and Maya. Um,
That's cute.
she deleted her Instagram for like 2 or 3 days and then it came back. She's back now. Um,
Mariska?
yeah,
Yeah.
she deactivated for like 2 or 3 days and then came back.
For just a minute.
Yeah.
For good measure.
Yes.
Hmm.
Um, and we just had the fall finale of SVU,
Hmm.
and that was an emotional roller coaster.
I knew it was going to be based on the one singular photograph I saw. And then because of my friend's cat passing away and me driving up there, Coley and I postponed watching as long as we both could. So it was like I knew it was gonna be so upsetting already, and then it was like so much worse than I thought
Yeah.
it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Um, but it's okay.
It's
Everything's
okay. Everything's fine.
yeah.
It's okay.
I'm still upset about it. But very well written episode.
Yes.
And I was telling my boyfriend also that typically I notice in the finales of the seasons, they like to
Mhm.
throw our main characters into some sort of predicament.
They do.
So it doesn't surprise me what went down, but I'm interested to see how they are moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the characters. I don't want to give away too much in case y'all haven't watched it yet,
Yeah.
but it's on Peacock if you want to. Not sponsored, but would love
Yes.
to. Oh, yeah. Well, is that everything for us for you right now? Do we know when we're coming back?
January 16th.
Okay.
It's 8 weeks.
Huh. Why do they do that every year? I'm like, I can still watch SVU on Christmas. You can't stop me. Um, well, is that everything, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a couple astrological updates for you guys. So actually a few. Saturn is direct now in Pisces. So if you're in my age group and you're going through your Saturn return, it's finally out of retrograde. And so we're kind of in that last little bit of the Saturn return before it moves into Aries next May.
Mhm.
So when that happened, it was a big shift for Saturn ruled people as well as anyone going through their Saturn return, like I unfortunately am. Um, it kind of put everything back moving forward. So if you had been feeling kind of stuck or like everything that could go wrong, especially when it comes to career, finances, stability, things like that, you may notice that it's starting to smooth out now. If you are in your Saturn return, I cannot promise it will smooth out now because the nature of Saturn returning to your sign is to cause a little chaos in your life. So my advice there is to stay hydrated and grounded as much as you can. However, Saturn moving out of retrograde and going direct will help overall. So be thankful. I personally felt a huge shift when it went direct and things started getting better in my life. So take with that what you will. Um, we are in Sagittarius season now. Scorpio season and depresso emo energy is now gone. And we are in fiery Sagittarius season. Thank God, the season of Miley Cyrus. Like, let it all just go. I am not a Scorpio energy fan. I have no Scorpio in my chart, so I always feel very like unsettled during Scorpio season. But then Sagittarius season comes in, Miley Cyrus drops some new music, and we're chilling.
Yeah.
So be thankful, embrace this fiery energy. You may feel more inclined to be a little more impulsive during this time. If you're gonna be, at least put it forward and buy some Christmas presents for your loved ones or something.
Yeah.
Um, Lastly, we did as of yesterday, so we're recording this on November 26th. As of yesterday, Mercury is retrograde for the next little while. So if you guys have been listening to the podcast for a while, you already know what to do. But for those of you that don't, just remember communication is going to be more difficult during this time. Your technology is not going to be reliable. Coley and I literally already had Zoom issues before even starting this call.
Yeah.
Like, Mercury does what she does best. Stay hydrated and make sure when you are having tense conversations to be open to being self-reflective.
Mhm.
Because Mercury likes to mess up how we communicate, and you may catch yourself saying some things you don't mean or that you wouldn't normally say.
Yeah.
So just be willing to be open to criticism during this time. I'm also hearing don't accept any big like changes unless you've thoroughly vetted them. So
Mhm.
like if you have a new job offer or you're moving or you're trying to buy a house or a car or something like that, make sure you've done your research.
Yes.
Um,
It's
I say
funny
that
because yesterday I
much.
had therapy
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't get the email that my therapist had started the session because I do virtual therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, until I texted her and was like, "Do we have a session today?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm waiting." And I was like, "Oh." So I
That's so
went
funny.
in to the session and the email popped up and I was like, ugh. And she's like, technology's been weird today. I don't know why. It was like because Mercury went into retrograde today. And she's
I
like, oh
have
yeah, that'll do
I
it.
have a funny therapist story for you actually. Um the other day I was sitting at my friend Sassy's her apartment. I was just sitting there and my phone rang and it was my therapist, and she doesn't call me unless we have like a scheduled session, and I knew we didn't because it was like the middle of the day. And I answered the phone and she was like, "Oh my God, where is it? Where is it?" And then it hung up and I realized she butt dialed me. And I texted her and I was like, "Did you just butt dial me?" And she goes, "Oh my God, did I call you with my butt?" And I was like, "I think you did." And she goes, "I was running from a cat." And I was like, "What?"
What?
I was like, that's the most random
Yeah.
situation ever. And of course, first day, Mercury retrograde, butt dial, you
Yeah.
know. Um, that's so funny. We love therapists in this.
Yes.
But yes, okay. So that it's a lot going on astrologically right now, but such is the holidays. So just
Yes.
remember, grounded, hydration, do your research.
Yes.
Um, so quickly, uh, it is November 26th when we're recording this, so we've had time to sort of process what happened. But the election did not go the way I was hoping it would.
Yeah. Or me. The way we were hoping it would.
Yeah. So, um, I want to talk about it, but I worry this is not the episode to go in too deep
Yeah.
on things because we want to keep stuff light today. But if you are struggling with the results of the election, you are not alone. And if you need any resources, please reach out to us.
Yes.
We can find them if we don't already know them. It's a crazy time right now.
Yeah.
I am just thankful for every single day that's not after January 6th.
Yes.
I am trying to embrace every single one of these days while we still have them.
Mhm.
And I encourage you to get things done that you may not be able to in the future.
Yes.
And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Okay.
If you have anything else, you are welcome to.
No, that's a good ending point.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so this episode is dedicated to my friend who passed away on Halloween, Natasha. She was a fierce advocate for survivors of sexual assault, especially survivors of sexual assault who experienced the rape kit backlog.
Mhm.
Because she experienced it herself. Her rape kit was backlogged for 9.5 years before it was tested.
Yeah.
Um, Her perpetrator was brought to justice and is currently still in prison, which is a good thing.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So this episode is dedicated to Natasha.
Yeah. Um, so should we say what's going on this episode, or do we want to do our plugs first?
Let's do our plugs first.
Okay. So, hi. Hmm. If you want to connect with us outside of the show, we are on social media. We're on Instagram. Our username is at SVU Coven. You can follow us over there. We post there the most when we post new episodes, updates, things like that. If you were over on there today, you saw that we asked you to ask us some questions for this episode. Sometimes we do things like that. So if you're interested, Instagram is SVU Coven. We also have a free to join Discord server. You can find that in the link in our Instagram bio, actually. And I would really like to grow the coven over there. It would be fun if we could have like more people in there so we could talk things SVU and coven. Um, but it's free to join. You can get that link in our Instagram bio, or you can email us and we will send you one. Our email is svucoven@gmail.com. If you're interested in being on the show, have questions for us, want to sponsor the show, or anything like that, email is the best place to reach out. Chloe does check it, so somebody will see them and respond, and she shares them with me. So we both see all of our emails, and we love hearing from you. Um, we also have merch. If you're interested, it's through Fourth Wall, and the proceeds go to Fourth Wall as well as to us. We designed it all ourselves, and we
Yes.
love it so much. And if you get any of our merch, please tag us in photos with it or email them to us. We would love, love, love to see them. Um, and whatever proceeds we get from the merch, we put it back into the show. So we appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is your episodic reminder to rate, review, subscribe, like, and comment. All of those things are important for the algorithm.
Mhm.
Rating, reviewing, and subscribing are the most important things you can do on an audio only platform. They tell the algorithm that you like us and they will recommend us to other people. You can review individual episodes. You can leave a comment on individual episodes on Spotify. Um, and it just really helps out the show. Subscribing, liking, and commenting are the most important things you can do on YouTube. Engagement, engagement, engagement is the name of the game.
Yeah.
So, we also have a coffee. So you can go on to coffee and donate however much money you want or however little money you want. It's up to you. It's completely voluntary. It's not mandatory at all. And all that money gets put right back into the show. Um, and we appreciate the energy exchange on all of it.
Yeah. Ah. All right. Should we tell them what we're doing?
Yes.
Do you want to tell them?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a very special guest today.
Mhm.
Allison Siko is coming on the show today, and we're going to be interviewing her and asking her some questions. And you know her as Kathleen Stabler.
hmm
Um,
Katie in some
yes,
circles.
Katie in some schools.
I keep thinking it just because of my life, but
Yeah.
I'm so excited to meet her.
I'm excited too.
Oh my gosh. We meet her in like an hour.
I know. It's insane.
Um, we had a little bit of like a back and forth getting it set up just because Allison is busy and we have to respect her, actress, celebrity, famous lifestyle. And of course, she's so sweet about it and everything. So
Yeah.
we didn't mind rescheduling at all. And
No.
she's gonna be here today so we can bother her and ask her a bunch of questions.
I don't think we're gonna be bothering her.
No, I don't think so. But I'm just like super excited.
Me too.
My brain is like that I can't even like I gotta chill. Gotta be cool. Don't want her to think I'm like some crazy fan or anything. I was like, oh, I could wear my merch and my Dick Wolf hat. And then I was like, no, I probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I was like, that might be too much.
Well, I'm wearing my Olivia Benson shirt, so
Yeah, but it's so cute.
yeah. And you
I
can't really see it because of how my computer is placed.
I do really like that one though. But yes, so we have a few more things we're gonna do really quick for you guys because we didn't want to leave you without all of your witchy stuff
Yeah.
for this episode. And then after that, Allison's coming.
Yes.
So yeah. Do you want to hop into our self-love affirmation?
Yes.
Okay.
So our self-love affirmation today comes from none other than Mariska Hargitay herself, and it's very simply, I decide.
I like it. Um, is that a Mariska one or an Olivia one?
That's a Mariska one.
I love her.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to do tarot first?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I thought I would give you guys still a reading for the day. Oh, okay. My goodness. Don't you love when like the whole thing just topples over?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you want this card?
I think not.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I've got the right information here for you guys. Um, so it's interesting because it was the Queen of Swords that fell out. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Um, and this card to me, I feel like I've pulled it recently on the show. Um, but Queen of Swords is very interested in political things. Similar to the King of Swords, they make sense that they're partners. But most of the time, when you pull Queen of Swords, it's indicative of someone who's single, maybe a single, recently broken up with, may feel kind of heartbroken or left out of something. But it's usually indicative of someone who's very intelligent and interested in things like politics and changing the world and doing good for other people. So when I pull Queen of Swords, I love it for SVU Coven in particular because I think our show and people that listen to it, we're all kind of advocates in one way or another.
Yeah.
Um, and politically minded, I would say
Mhm.
as well. So Queen of Swords to me is very much a card of if you are going through a heartbreak right now or you are feeling left out, maybe in your friend groups or at work, just know that you have the passion and the drive to push through that and move forward. I think sometimes when sword cards come out, it can make us a little more or be indicates sadness or depression or a heavier energy. And this one with the politics energy too kind of reminds me of how we were talking about the election earlier
Mhm.
and how to take care of yourself post-election results. So all of that kind of comes into play. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself first, um,
Yes.
is what I would say. And then the rest will come after because you will be the best version of yourself, and that will manifest the best versions of other people to you, as well as other things and other events. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
I think the cards never lie.
they don't. So now we'll get into our spell break. Um, this is coming out Monday, December 2nd. The
Woo!
color of the day is gray, and the incense of the day is lily. And this is a letting go spell. Occasionally in life, it becomes necessary to let go of some aspect of ourselves. Maybe you are holding on to habits that no longer serve you. Perhaps your way of thinking has become outdated, and your beliefs don't align with how you see your future. This spell uses a lock of your own hair. Hair has long been seen as a place where people carry their energy and life force. All you need is a cast iron cauldron or a fire safe bowl, and some matches or a lighter. Place the lock of your hair in the cauldron. Safely light the hair with the matches. As the hair burns, chant, "Goodbye, old self. Thank you. Hello, new self. I am ready." Alternatively, if you are letting go of a habit, say, "Goodbye, old habit. Thank you. Welcome, new habit. I am ready." Do not leave the burning hair unattended. Once the hair is fully burned, clean out the cauldron with your blessed water or salt water. And that's by Phoenix LaFay and Juan Raven.
I'm so gonna do that, actually. Um, I am trying really hard to manifest like a new job into my life because I know that it's already mine and it already exists, but I'm impatient.
Yeah,
And so I love the idea of like a release of old self to invite in a new self. Especially in December as we're moving into January.
yeah,
Um, I think it's smart for like the new year, new year, new you, whatever they say.
yeah. Okay,
All
so
right.
the next time you see us, Allison Siko will be with us. I'm so excited.
Take some deep breaths with
Take
and
some
for
deep
us.
breaths. Yes. Okay,
All right.
see you
We'll see
soon.
you soon. Okay.
Okay,
Oh, hi.
Allison Psycho.
Hello.
Hi.
We're so excited.
So lovely to finally meet you.
I
Yes,
know.
it's
We've been
lovely
playing
to meet you
like
too.
email tag for a while.
Yeah.
Welcome to the industry at large. That's what a lot of it is.
Well, how are you doing? How are you?
Um, things things have been a little challenging, but we're making do, trying to find the silver linings. I did just see Wicked last night with my roommates, so that was definitely a high note. And in things lately, comparatively to some other things that happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Um, Do you know? But yeah, doing okay. Trying to make the best of things. Getting ready for Turkey Day. I luckily still do have my parents with us, and they hunt and gather, and then I go over and cook it all. So getting ready to put my
Oh,
apron on and get some pies made and some turkey basted. So that'll be fun.
That's exciting.
how
Yeah.
was Wicked? Because I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I highly recommend it. Everybody should go see it, whether they think they love musicals or they're like, no, musicals are stupid. Like, it is not. It is amazing. They've taken everything you love about the stage production and then amplified it and cranked it up. And the only thing I felt bad was that my one roommate didn't realize that it's a part one and
No.
that part two will be later and the intermission will be rather long.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
that little hiccup aside, it's just glorious. It's glorious what they've done, all the Easter eggs to the stage play, all the Easter eggs to the Judy Garland film of Wizard of Oz, Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and it's just, I have to say, it's one of the best pieces of art coming at one of the best times that it's needed. And it's just a beautiful story I've always loved, but it feels oddly timely right now. So I'm very thankful that I'm a part of a community of storytellers where we do take things and the human experience and we elevate it to levels. This one's happening in fantasy, but it feels very, very now. So I'm very trying to spread the word, as all my friends are, of saying, go see it. And it was very fun to get my Galinda back on last night because
Oh.
I was there when it was written, basically. So I pulled out all my pink stuff and went a little bubbly. That was fun.
Oh, I bet that
I'm
was
going
so
to see it on Friday
Oh, yay! Yeah, I'm
with
actually
Maya
gonna
and
go
my
see it
cousin.
again with my family because I was like, family, we should go see this. I think you'd enjoy. So that'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to see Wicked off Broadway with my grandmother when I
Mm.
graduated high school, so a very long time ago. And then I'm spending Thanksgiving with her, so I was gonna
Oh.
bug her to go see it with me. Um,
Honestly, it's a great, like, especially since that bonded you, that was something you did together the first time. I think doing it again would be wonderful. That's also why I wanted to see it with my family because they brought me to see Wicked on Broadway when I was a wee teenager. And
mhm.
it was one of those life-changing shows that really it's one of those touchstones I look back on and I'm like, oh yeah, something had changed in me after seeing that, and it was all for good.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. We love musicals at SVU Coven. So,
Yes.
Yay! As do I. That was the food I grew up on. I was a only child. I still am, but I was the only child who grew up just adoring movie musicals, and that was what I think inspired a lot of why I do what I do today. So I'm very happy that they're making a comeback.
I
Yes.
know. I saw some speculation about a Hamilton movie. I don't know
I
if
mean,
I
I
would
know there's the
love
pro
that.
shot. There's the pro shot on Disney Plus, but
Yeah.
yeah, if they wanted to actually flesh it out and do even more in the cinematic realm of things, that could be
Yeah.
cool.
You hear that, Lynn? Get to work.
Oh, he's a busy, busy man.
I know,
Disney
he's
liked
so
what he did
busy.
and we're like, again, again, copy paste, sir.
I
So
know. He just did the music for Moana, I think.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Never, no free time, that man.
Yeah, he is that Lady Gaga clip of club, another club, bus, another club, no sleep, no sleep. So, yeah,
Yeah.
Well, would you like to dive into some SVU questions?
I would love to.
Yay.
Because I know Coley's got them.
Yes.
Hit me with
So,
it.
what was your first day on set like?
My first day on set was many moons ago, and it was a episode titled "Popular,"
Hmm.
which is very funny. We were just talking about Wicked, you know. And it's all full circle. But
Mhm.
it was called Popular, and I don't exactly remember what Dad, aka Detective Elliot Stabler, aka Christopher Maloney, was doing in the episode, but it had something I'm guessing to do with teens because we were usually brought in to be foils to him of how he's interacting with kids at his job versus how he's interacting with kids at home. And I was actually a replacement stabler. There was a lovely actor who was before me named Holiday Siegel, who had the role of Kathleen. And for whatever reason, they needed an understudy, a replacement for her, if you will. And I had auditioned just for like episode of the week. They needed some teens for a different episode entirely of like, I didn't see Johnny and gym class. Sorry, I gotta go. Done, done. Like one of the little ones. And I hadn't heard for weeks. And then all of a sudden, my agent rung up and said, "Hey, they're looking for the new version of the daughter, and they like her. You want to do it?" And of course, the answer is yes. And so I showed up on my first day, not really knowing anybody, and I was a minor, so my mom came with me. That's always the thing. Gotta love. Thank you, SAG-AFTRA, for all of the child labor law protections and making sure we're safe. So like I had to check in with the set tutor to make sure if I needed to do any homework that we covered it. And My mom was there, but she's not a stage mom. She was very much of like, I will drive you to the things that you like, but that's about it. It's your thing if you like it. If you don't like it, we'll stop doing it. But I really, really liked this. So she and I were at the studios over in North Bergen because that's where they used to be. And all of a sudden the scene was very simple of just I was on the phone in the kitchen and dad came in from a hard day at work and he just immediately sees me and goes, Kathleen, get off the phone. And I instantly, in teenagerly fashion, rebutted, but dad. And that was kind of the little interaction of a teenager not wanting to get off the phone with their friends, the dad having a stressful day at work and just being like, get off the phone, go do your homework, go upstairs. Because I think he and mom were already in the midst of a conversation walking in. And I got to dress up in cute fashions of the time because our wardrobe department is always on point. And it was a beautiful day and lovely director John DeSonek, who he still works with the Law and Order world, and I saw him one of the last episodes I shot not too long ago. That had aired, and so it's just beautiful that these relationships of people I had met all the way back then are still a part of the Law and Order family. So that was a fun day, but I didn't think much of it. It just was another job coming in, playing a teen, and doing my part, knowing my lines, showing up on time, being respectful, and letting the powers that be edit it however they want. And then I went home and thought, well, that was fun because my mom and I were fans of the show. We were watching it pretty much every Friday, like getting the popcorn and sitting down and watching it together. And then it just started to snowball of things would happen and they'd say, "Oh, hey, by the way, we want to bring the kids in. Is she available? Oh, we want to do this. Is she available?" So then it kind of grew. But that first time was very much a I don't know if I'll ever get this chance again. So I was soaking up everything like a sponge of getting to meet Christopher Maloney and Isabel Gillies, who played mom, and the director, and just being on set, what it's like to be on set, especially because I had done a bunch of commercials before. And so I had been in front of a camera, but episodic television works in a different pace. Episodic television works at a very quick pace compared to movies or commercials, even. And I had done a lot of theater. And so in theater, you're used to having a lot of rehearsal time of where you figure things out and you have like I don't know, sometimes when you're in school, it's like months of rehearsal and you can really go over a scene over and over and over again. Whereas you show up on an episodic set, they're like, okay, rehearsal. And rehearsal is about 5 minutes or less. And it's really more for figuring out where's the camera going to go, how we're going to shoot this from different angles. Oh, I guess you'd move there, but make sure on this line you put the phone down and then you're going to leave. And it's pretty much come in with what you want to do because they trust you that they've hired a professional who knows what they're going to do. And when they say action, you just go because you might only get two takes if you're lucky. If they can get it in one, they're happy and they want to move on. But yeah, it was the kind of thing where I showed up, I knew my lines, did my thing, had a grand old time, never knew if I'd be back, and 20 odd years later, I'm still having some fun.
Yeah, it's so cute. You still get to go back and do things now and then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, hopefully come back to do more. I am available and here. I'm an auditioning
Manifest.
actor. The hustle never stops.
Yes.
So, yeah.
It also tickles me a little bit because my boyfriend's last name is Stabler, and so I'd be
No
Katie
way.
Stabler. Yeah.
Cousin?
Colleen will
What's
pass
up?
out.
That's awesome.
Um,
So you're a real SVU diehard. You found a stabler to date. Bravo.
by accident, I manifested him to me because I live in the South and he's from the Midwest and he moved here on a whim and we just happened to meet. And when I found out his last name, I texted Coley and I was like, "Oh my God."
Okay, practical magic. Bravo.
That's our
Midnight
favorite
margaritas
movie.
at your house. Jeez. Yeah.
Um, but that's so fun. I love that you call him or you call them mom and dad. We're huge Isabel fans here.
Yeah.
She's wonderful, and it was so lovely to get to know her over the years. And I actually ran into her in the streets of New York because it's a very small island with lots and lots of people. And I ran into her one time, and I was like, "Oh, hi. You don't really know me, but I play your daughter." And she was like, "Of course I know who you are. How are you, sweetie?" and stuff. So, and then we cross the street and then go our separate ways. But it was beautiful little interaction, and yeah, everybody's just lovely. And in my brain, it does keep it easier just to be like, "Oh yeah, who's in the scene?" Well, it was mom, dad, grandma, uncle, like
Hmm.
just to convey really quickly, because when you're thinking as the character, that's who they are to you. But professionally speaking, yes, Chris and Isabel and
We're
Mariska when
that.
when she's around with her. So.
Hmm. Coley, what do you have another question?
What was the most impactful part of Swing, do you think?
Oh, sweet. Well, the most, oof. See, I
I
was
love
about to answer with one answer, and then my brain topped that answer, and then it topped it again because there's so many layers to how the entire experience was so impactful.
Mhm.
Um, okay, pardon my ADHD brain, but I'm just going to tell you the layer cake that came because I don't think I can parse out just one. Um, it was really impactful that for, like I said, for my first time on set, it was just very small, little thing interaction, wasn't really a part of the story, and then I left. Swing, I'm there for the entire episode. The episode is like heavily involving me. There's no way my part's getting cut. So that was cool to be on set. Usually it takes about 10 to 12 days to shoot an episode, like business days to shoot an episode. Sometimes lately, because things can move faster with digital, they'll even be as short as 8 days, but that's usually about how much time you need to shoot an episode. But when I was coming on before, it would only be like one day, maybe two if I was lucky. For Swing, I was there. I mean, I have my book somewhere because I keep all my mementos, and that was back when they used to give us lots of paper things instead of PDFs. Um, I think the schedule said something of like, if it was a 10-day shoot, I was there maybe 8 days. So just to be there day after day and see what this job is like when you're there more often, that was massively impactful because there's only so much you learn when you're in, say, drama school or acting class or doing the shows, wherever you're doing them in your community, versus you are on set, you are seeing this well-oiled machine working day in, day out, really long hours, hard work, but everybody's in it to make it happen. To see that firsthand at such a young age, that was really impactful. Another very, very impactful thing was that I got to work with Ellen Burstyn, minor detail Oscar winner
Yeah,
extraordinaire.
it's fine.
Um, it's fine, totally fine. But honestly, whenever you get to act with someone, um, or at least when I do, I learn so much. I'm a constant learner wherever I go. I try to pick up anything I can find. And being in scenes with her and seeing how every single take she's saying the exact same words, but she's saying them differently and giving it different intonation because every single time she'd kind of do like a reset and just go, "Oh, okay, this is how the character is communicating with you now." And that's how we are in real life. We don't have our full monologue of what we're going to say, or like, if you're preparing for an argument with somebody and you're like, "I'm going to say this, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say this." When you get into the argument, it might come out differently. And that was a beautiful thing to watch her do in real time, to the point of where they had to remind me. They were like, "We know the camera's not on you, but please still be acting with her. Stop watching." And I was like, "I'm so sorry. Of course, yes, I am here to do a job. This is not an acting class I've signed up for." But it was just beyond marvelous. Like, talk about a master class. So that was really, really impactful. But then I have to say, like, those two are business impactful things. But then the other layer that popped in that feels a little more cohesive to everything was that this was a character dealing with bipolar disorder who like, that's not a made up thing. We're not in the land of fantasy or science fiction. This is something that is real, and lots of Americans and people worldwide, because we do air worldwide, lots of people deal with this on a daily basis, either themselves or tangentially through friends and family. It manifests in different ways. And I'm also a big old science nerd, so I already had been taking some psychology courses. So I whipped out my abnormal psychology book. I borrowed the DSM from the library. I watched a wonderful documentary that Stephen Fry had made where he was interviewing folks, including Carrie Fisher and like all these other amazing humans who have accomplished amazing things in their life with this challenge added in. Like some would call it their special sauce and some would call it their curse. So, to really dive into that and make sure it wasn't going to be a caricature, it was actually going to be a respectful, authentic interpretation of what people go through, because also the script was written by a writer that had wanted to write this storyline because they are one of those people who have family who are dealing with this, and they wanted, like, that was the beautiful thing always and still is of SVU, of where you learn something each episode because they bring to light something that might not have been as publicly talked about or publicly on the world stage for conversation. And mental health, especially when we were making it, was not as openly talked about as it is now, and it wasn't as understood. And it wasn't also as understood that it can run in families. And so that was the beautiful, beautiful thing to see, that what we were doing with storytelling, I still get people reaching out to me and saying, like, hey, once I saw that, I understood my daughter better, or I saw myself and I could show it to my friends and family to say, hey, if you don't understand, this is what I'm going through. I have something to point to. And just to be a part of that grander global assistance in a way, like, I'm not saying I'm curing cancer over here, but it is something that we look to stories to explain our experience, to relate to our experience. And so having a storyline that was so impactful for me, just to, like I said, be on set longer and work with these amazing, amazing technicians of the craft, but also have it be encapsulated in that this is going to be really meaningful to folks and it's still meaningful to folks. That's the gift that just keeps on giving, and it's really something I am so grateful for.
I have
I
to say, for me, as someone who does suffer with bipolar disorder,
Oh, hi there.
um,
Yeah.
hi. Um, before I was even diagnosed, I saw myself and Kathleen in that episode, and it was amazing. The one
Oh,
thing
see?
about that episode
Yeah.
that annoys me is the
Okay.
doctor calls bipolar disorder BPD, and I'm like, no, those are two separate things.
Yeah. But like I
think
said, it was earlier
It was
in
earlier
the
on, and
timeline of how people talk about things. And
yeah,
so that is the thing where stuff changes, terminology changes, how
yeah,
we treat things, how we talk about it is going to change. But I'm see, like, that's something that's priceless to me. And I'm so glad to be been a part of something that helped you in whatever way. So
yeah.
and I
aw.
would
I
say
think that
I'm gonna cry.
I think that BPD thing irks me because I also have BPD.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's kind of like, no.
Yeah.
but I think I always say that's what's special about our show, like
Mhm.
about SVU, because I think it is a show that keeps on giving in that it's always touching somebody or addressing things that we don't always talk about. Um, Even like a totally different episode, but I think it's Daniel Panabaker's episode with PMDD, because I
Okay,
recently
yeah.
got diagnosed with PMDD, and when it was happening, I was texting Coley and I was like, "Do you remember that episode where, like, because they painted it a little more extreme than it
Yeah.
is, but for TV." And Chloe was like, "Yeah, I can't stop thinking about it." And I was like, "Me either," because that was the only reference point I had. Was
Exactly. That's what these amazing pieces of work of television and cinema and theater, all of this art form of storytelling, it gives people a touchstone of oh, I'm not alone. This is something that happens to other people, or I didn't even realize that was a thing. I'll be on the lookout, or it's marvelous to be able to share the information because it is also wonderful that they do their due diligence. Wow, I just said do many times. But they have medical professional consultants. And so what we were being told at the time, and when I asked the nurse who was next to me for like the whole pumping of the stomach scene or whatever, I was like, how does this work? And she was like, oh, well, sweetie, if I was in the ER, this is what's going to happen. Da, 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 da. They make sure that for what the current time frame is and the current knowledge is, they're trying to do it as close to realistic as possible. But yeah, sometimes things get amped up a little bit for dramatic effect, but then that's a beautiful thing of at least it stayed in your brain enough that when you were then told you also have it, then you have something to look back on. That's great.
Yeah. Um, was filming Swing kind of difficult to like for you personally? Like, was anything hard about that?
Um, I I like the adult answer would be like, yes, it was very stressful. It was long hours, but I honestly feel like it's always playtime when I'm on set. Not to diminish the hard work of it all, but for me, the hard work of being an actor is the audition grind and finding representation and working survival jobs that I don't care about as much, but I need to pay my rent. Anytime I book an actual acting job, I am a kid in a candy store. Like I am having the best time of my life, whether I'm on a set, whether I'm on a stage, in a rehearsal room. Like, yeah, the hours can be grueling. Like, there were some times that the call time was 5 a.m. and I wouldn't finish filming until 6 or 8 p.m. You know, you have breaks during the day, but it's a long day and it's emotional work. And it was the first time ever that I had to wear like modesty garments because I was in a shower and it was a closed set. And so that was a new experience. I also had to be passed out in my underwear with a complete stranger, like passed out on top of me. So that was interesting to just be like, hi, other actor. Nice to meet you. You're now going to lay down on me on your boxers. Great. Like,
Yay.
there's that kind of stuff that's a little interesting. And God love Christopher Maloney, but he does that day in, day out for all these years that, he knows what he's doing. So just I'd look over to him to be like, okay, how is he keeping his stamina up? Oh, okay, he's eating a snack. He's doing some push-ups. Like, okay, yeah, you got to keep yourself moving. Like I said, I absorb and try to learn wherever I am. But I felt a little worse for him because especially that scene where I'm OD'd, he had to keep farmers carrying me or firemen's carry, that's what it's called, out the door. And like I would try to help him, but I can't fully help him because I'm supposed to look like I am unconscious. So I was a little bit of dead weight and I was a bit lighter than I am now because I was a bit younger, but still he got his gym workout in lifting me over and over again. So, there were like probably physical struggles and some just stamina struggles trying to keep up with the speed at which we were moving and dealing with emotional things. But you yell cut and Chris Maloney starts like making a fart noise just to keep the mood up. You're all gonna laugh, you're gonna have fun, people are cracking jokes and telling funny stories of their weekend. Like it wasn't Wicked at the time, but people were talking about the latest movie that was in. It's a workplace like any other. And so I just was having the time of my life and enjoying every second and maybe being a little overboard of saying, please let me come back all the time. I love you. I love
Every
you.
day,
So
I will come back.
exactly. But it's true of it is a hard thing that we do. It's not all glamour and glitz. Somebody recently told me that filmmaking of any kind is much more akin to camping than the glamour of Hollywood, because it is true. Like when I'm doing that swing scene, I was in the middle of the night on a New York City playground. There were some rats that were going around. It was kind of damp and cold, and I'm wrapped in a shower curtain. But I was wrapped in a shower curtain in the middle of the night in New York City on a swing set, surrounded by like protection of crew and and other amazing actors. Like, who gets to do that? That was so fun and so kooky. Like the amount of cool things you get to do to tell these stories. I have a blast, and that's why I always say I'm on the Betty White plan. I started very young, and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. I'm really only going to stop when stage manager in the sky is like, time to exit stage left. So
Oh,
yeah,
the
that's my
Betty
deal.
White clan is so cute.
It's my thing because honestly, even looking into her more, she started right out of high school, I think. She used to like finish her classes and then run over to the local radio station and be a part of a disc jockey show. And then when they started realizing, oh, we're going to take that show, but we're going to put a camera in front of it because there's this new thing called TV. She was like, yeah, sure. She was a part of the birth of that from a very young age. And as we know, she continued to do it until like the very end. And I I started a little younger. I officially started acting professionally at 3.5. So I had a few years on her, but at the same time, I really I've tried to look like there's so many things I'm interested in. And maybe that is a part of my like ADHD undiagnosed. But it is the thing of through the arts and through acting, I feel like I can tackle all of those interests. I can play many different characters who have many different jobs, who are in many different locations, dealing with many different people under many different circumstances. So it's playtime. I have so much fun.
That. Um, what's your, would you have another question, Colleen?
What's your favorite episode of SVU, whether you were in it or not?
Ooh. I have to say, the one that like got me as a fan that really gut punch. I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's the one where Olivia is all dressed up because she looked like she was going out to an event, but a call came in of the little girl on the
Yes.
phone, and she's talking to her throughout the entire episode and trying to either figure out where she is. That one, that one gets
My
me.
favorite episode.
It's gorgeous. Not only because like Mariska got to look gorgeous in her made-up self compared to the typical NYPD beat look. She's always gorgeous. Like there's, you could put a burlap
I
sack on that
know.
woman and she would make it look like a tour. But that that particular episode, because it I think also was such a departure from how the procedural stories were constantly told. It was a new viewpoint of how they were going to unveil the story of like the typical, inciting incident, red herring, actual bad guy, try to go save the day. And that one felt very different, but in a beautiful way. So I really, really love that one. Um, and then Swing has such a space in my heart that I'm now enough years away from it that I can watch it and not be super critical of myself and enjoy it as a whole. Um, but I'm really, really proud of that episode and I do love it a lot.
No. I think Coley didn't for the 911 episode, didn't Mariska win an Emmy for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rightly so.
And
I
Like,
she
know.
was
I
she
was like,
wasn't even talking to the little girl. She was talking to a production manager on set.
yeah, that is that beautiful thing that happens where somebody's supposed to be on the phone and it's either a production manager or the stand-in who works with the person all the time or an AD, somebody like they're they're doing a good job, but their job is typically off camera. And so they're feeding the lines, but the actor is then creating the whole world in their head of who's on the other end of the line, how they're talking, how they sound, how they want to respond. And yeah, that's sometimes the hardest stuff can be comedy and also phone calls because if you like in comedy, if you don't have a good playmate who knows how to like catch the ball and throw it back, you're kind of dead in the water. But a phone call, there's really nobody on the other end of the line to catch the ball. You had to keep it up yourself the whole time, and it's just done masterfully,
Yeah.
masterfully.
yeah.
Mhm.
Honestly, no one could be on the other end of that call, and I think Mariska would just wipe the floor.
She is so amazing. Like
I know.
the fact that with organized crime, I finally got to have my first one-on-one scene with her. There's that scene in the
Yeah.
diner. I don't know if you saw.
Hmm.
Um, she is such an amazing scene partner that she's she's just wonderful herself, but then she also, like I said, catch the ball and throw it back, kind of a metaphor for acting. She is such a like teammate. She's very much of I'm here for you and we're going to work this together and make it the best it can be. And I
Hmm.
can't speak highly enough of her. And Chris. Chris does the same thing. That's why I swear the two of them together are so good because they really know how to catch the ball from each other. And if they throw it a different way, they know somebody will be there to catch it. And working with Chris, it's the same way of he like I got to work with him much more because father-daughter relationship, we had many more scenes together. But he was always wanting the best for the scene. And so sometimes he'd even be like, no, just take a deep breath. We don't have to start right away. Like make sure you're in your emotional space. Okay, I know they said action, but take a moment. All right, you ready? Yeah, let's go. You're like, it's like he didn't have to be side coach, but he's amazing. So
Mhm.
they're just great. They're really great.
Do you prefer working on the SVU set or the OC set?
Um, they both work kind of similarly. Like I said, episodic television is a lot of um, pages in a day. So they both work at a particular pace that is very quick for people who are not used to that. So that feels comparable. Um, Pretty much the difference is just the different people who are bouncing between sets. But a lot of times when like I was going over to the SVU set, like lately, if I was going over, it was with other organized crime people. So like the organized crime people would be coming, or like if I was going back to organized crime, Mariska or some of the SVU people would be coming over. So honestly, even though they are two separate shows, because they're all a part of the Law and Order Dick Wolf family, they don't feel that different from the actual just mechanics of we're making a thing, we're making a TV show. Um, the only real difference right now is like location of a lot of the sets are in different spots. And so one might be slightly easier to get to. um, but at the same time, you just they could have a set on location in like, I don't know, upstate New York, and I'd find a way to get there. You get to where the job is and you start your day and you get going. So they don't feel that different. It's maybe just how much you're involved in the day or how many lines you might have or what's going on. It's sometimes, like I said, like with Swing, very much a part of the episode. And then other times it's just that little sprinkling on top of, just showing of reminding everybody of like, oh yeah, he's got some kids and they're driving him nuts. But that's to add on to what he's already going through in the work mode environment kind of thing. So yeah.
Hmm.
They're but like I said, they might be slightly different candy stores, but they're a candy store, and I go hog wild in my brain and heart space every time, no matter where I am.
Yeah, that's so cute. Um, Coley, do you have any more questions?
Not SVU related anyway. I have general questions.
Okay, hit me with it.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, I do love me some karaoke, and I'm still close with a bunch of my friends from high school, and that is one way that we like to get together. We'll go to the karaoke spots that have private rooms and just like grelt our faces off. Um, I do love a classic of Aretha Franklin's Respect. I
Mm.
do love Lady Gaga's You and I.
That's a good.
Um, those are kind of my, when I can't think of anything, I will choose one of those. But then when I'm in the room and singing along with everybody else, you can't go wrong with Spice Girls. You can't go wrong with ABBA.
Mm.
We also get into a lot of musical theater, so at least one portion of the evening you'll hear A Whole New World. You'll hear what's the other one? Oh, Somewhere That's Green from Little Shop of Horrors. Like, we just we go through all sorts of songs, but then I always forget like Shania Twain. She's got some bangers. Dolly Parton, just lots of we're here to have fun.
Yeah, I love that. I've always wanted to
Yeah.
go to one of those private room karaoke's.
Oh yeah, they're great. There's a whole bunch here in the city, and it helps when you're going with a larger group because then everybody can have just a piece of the paycheck at the end because
Right.
that bill is not the cheapest, but at the same time, if you can, like, we'll do it for a birthday. Or my one friend, her birthday is really close to Halloween, so she's had an annual Halloween karaoke birthday bash, like the
Fun.
weekend before Halloween, where costumes are mandatory. So we all show up with costumes and then we sing our faces off, and it's really, really fun.
That's so fun. Coley, you want to go
Yeah.
karaoke?
Yes.
Yeah, do it, do it. Singing releases endorphins, and we could all use some happiness right now.
We'll
Yeah.
have to plan it. Coley lives very far away from me, so we'll have to.
Yes. I live
Gotta
in
love the
Jersey.
digital
Katie lives in
age.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Both very good places, but yeah, there's got to be an online private room somewhere where you can enjoy some fun.
That would be so
Oh
fun.
wait, that sounded a little spicy. Sorry, I didn't mean it in the spicy way. I meant it in the karaoke way.
The karaoke way.
Anywho, moving on.
Um, Good question, Coley. What else you got?
If you could live in any fictional universe, which would you pick and why?
Oh,
That's a fun one.
oh, there's so many. I mean, hard thing is that I love a lot of these fictional universes, but a lot of the fictional universes are in like war and strife, and not always the nicest to the women's. Um, but
Mm.
I've been a big old fan of Lord of the Rings ever since the movies came out. And if I could just live in Rivendell with the elves, I'd be a very happy camper. Or, the Shire
Wow.
with the hobbits, please, like, please and thank you. I just would timeshare. I would be in Hobbiton and then go to Rivendell and come back, just a little snowbirding. Don't know which one would go where. That would be very, very fun. But then also I do love and people might get mad at me for this, but I have strong feelings of I love, love, love the book Ella Enchanted.
Oh,
That was a classic for me. I like my copy is so loved from the Scholastic Book Fair and yellowing and falling apart,
yes.
but it is not the movie that they made. I love Annie Hathaway. She's amazing, but that movie is not the book. It pisses me off. So like if I could live in the book version of Ella Enchanted, that would be kind of fun. But it is also that thing of like you're dealing with kind of medieval
Yeah.
feeling social economic standards. And as a woman, and if you didn't have a lot of shekels in your pocket, you might not have the best time.
Right.
So, with some caveats, if I could be like, I would like to be in this location, but I would like to have this amount of money and this kind of powers, then
Mhm.
yeah, that would be a little more I'd be more on board. But I love those two kind of feels of things. I'm very much into historical dress and love
Mhm.
the like if I could I haven't been in so long, but if I can get to a Renaissance fair, like I just love that kind of atmosphere. That stuff is very, very cool.
They do a beautiful, if you're ever in Atlanta, they do a huge Ren Fair festival for like the whole
Ooh.
summer and
Oh,
everybody
well,
dressed up and it's so fun.
Atlanta keeps becoming my new pocket of Hollywood. A lot of stuff is shot there. So if I
I
had my
know.
say about it, I would love to book some work and be down there and then play at the Ren Fair on off days. That would be so much fun.
It's so
Well,
fun.
I'm gonna manifest that. There we go.
Yeah.
New manifestation.
Yeah, hit me up when you're here. I'll take you.
Excellent. Love it.
Um, Coley, do you have any more cute questions like that? I love those.
Um, what's the best piece of acting advice you've ever received?
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. When I was a little girl, I got to be in a production of Gypsy out at Paper Mill Playhouse. and Betty Buckley was our Mama Rose, and I was Baby Louise. And there's a moment in the beginning of the show where she storms up on stage and she's saying, like, smile, baby, sing out, Louise, all that jazz. And then she'd put her hand on me and we'd have a little scene back and forth. And as a little kid, I knew, okay, I know my lines. And it was that kind of thing of like, I say my line, then she says her line, then I say my line, and then we're good. And Betty, God love her, talking to a child, but treating me like a peer, a colleague. She finished saying her line, but not quite. And then I came in with mine and she went, no, no, don't anticipate. You don't exactly know what I'm going to say as the character. Yes, I know you, the actor, you know what I'm going to say, but the character doesn't really know what I'm going to say. So don't anticipate, really make sure to listen really, really well. And then when it sounds like in a normal conversation, you would respond, then say your line. And I swear that is one of the foundations of acting. Acting is a lot of listening. And to get that from a very early age, I'm very grateful because that whenever things feel like they're going off the rails, that's what you do. You don't anticipate and you get back to listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
like
so,
that.
yeah. I love when there's like someone inspirational that actually says, like when you meet a hero and they actually live up to it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy when I look at my timeline thus far, the amount of amazing, strong women I've been able to work with and kind of be tutored by, whether intentionally or not, is kind of unreal. And then the fact that we now all live in the same fictional universe of Law and Order, like Mariska Hargitay, Betty Buckley, Ellen Burstyn, we are all in the same world. Like we could have a scene all together, and that would be hilarious because it's like Mama Rose, Grandma, Mariska, who's Auntie Mariska or Mama Mariska, as some people would like. Just it's wonderful. It really is such a blessing, and I hope to meet many more of my heroes and see where else we can learn from each other. And then I very much believe in if you learn the craft, you need to pass it on. So if folks have questions for me, or like sometimes one of my side jobs is I like to coach people for auditions or things of that nature of I want to give back because this is not knowledge to hoard, this is knowledge to share.
I love that. Uh, what advice would you give then if someone was asking you for acting advice?
I wouldn't exactly plagiarize Betty. I would give her her due credit, but no, that it would be that kind of listening is very, very important. Um, but the big thing that I kind of had to learn the hard way, and I'm still learning it, is that the biggest asset in acting that you have is to be the most authentic version of yourself. Trying to fit into whatever box you think the industry currently wants you to be can be helpful for one-off experiences to maybe get that one job, but staying power really helps when you get really, really self-aware and know who you are and how you view the world, how you view yourself, like your own personal style even. Like I'm still trying to figure that out because I felt like whenever I was a kid, I would always be trying to dress slightly as the character I was auditioning for. And then that kind of just bled over of like, those are the clothes I have in my closet. I guess today I feel like this character, so I will dress like this. Or I was very heavily influenced by Legally Blonde in my youth. And so there was a good pink period where I was like, she seems happy. I will wear a bunch of pink and that will make me happy. And, that only works for a smidge. And that wasn't exactly who I authentically was, but I felt like, oh, if I put on this character, I'll be okay. And a lot of actors, we come to the art form to be like, my real life feels crap or I feel a little broken. So I'm going to put on these characters and they're going to help me feel better. And that works for a bit, but that kind of can wear out and not work as well. And so the truth through which you can figure out who you are so that then you can find little bits of yourself in all of the characters instead of putting on these characters like they're a big overcoat, that really, really can help your interpretation of a character stand out compared to, the other 500 people up for an audition who are trying to give them what they want. Half the time when things are being created, they have an idea of what they want, but if they're beautifully surprised by something they never would have thought of, and they're like, oh, we can add this to our project, this gem. That's amazing. We never would have come up with that idea. But this particular human came up with that idea. We'd love to add that. That gives you such an advantage.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
like that. Coley
I don't have anything else. Oh, what's your favorite urban legend that you think is true?
or conspiracy
Or
theory?
conspiracy theory or anything like
Hmm.
that?
I mean, I grew up in Jersey, so I heard a lot about the Jersey Devil growing up. Hey, Jersey in the house. Um, And I was actually filming a horror film. It was like the first and only original horror film for Nickelodeon back in the day called Crybaby Lane. And we were shooting in South Jersey in a cornfield at like 2 in the morning.
Hmm.
And there were some times where we would be like, what is that noise? I don't know. So that was a fun one at the time to kind of like believe. But the thing that I don't know as fully about, but anytime it comes across my feeds when I'm hearing about it or anybody mentions it, I go, oh yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Is if you hear anything strange in Appalachia, no, you didn't. I don't need to test any of that. I will believe that wholeheartedly. That entire land feels sacred and old, and I don't want to piss anybody off. No.
No, my father lives in Appalachia, so fully
Yeah,
understand, agree.
yeah, because there is the main thing I believe is that, I'm so happy that people of the world have religions and that gives them comfort and things, but I am a bit more spiritual and I love nature and I maybe go a little closer to what either, I don't know, the Native Americans did or the Celtic peoples did, of where like I feel more we are all one part of a thing rather than like we are humans and everything else is below us. And so believing a little bit more in that, it's like, yeah, there's are more of these kind of what's considered supernatural, which could actually just be natural. Yeah, that's probably happening. And there are energies around us, and there's a lot of things that we label as magic or whatever that we don't understand that might just be science we haven't explored yet. So that's my big thing of if you find comfort in a religion, I applaud you and that's so cool. And I wish I had that, but I'm a little bit more of like I'm cool with the energies and oh, Mercury's in the microwave again, that feels like it's a real thing. So
I was gonna say that very much aligns with Coley and I too.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Um, all right. Well, so we do have a couple like final questions for you if Coley
Okay.
wants to take that away.
Um, are you currently working on anything that you want fans to know about?
I am currently working on a lot of auditions to try to get more work so that fans hopefully can see things because um, this is like I said, I'm on the Betty White plan. I'm not going anywhere. And there are things that I'm toying with making myself. I have friends who are directors and producers, and I'm actually part of a book club that's really fun where we read books about like the industry or motivation or directing and a lot of the people I admire who have staying power, they make their own things. And so I'm I have some doodles on some pieces of paper that hopefully down the line can be turned into things. I just not exactly sure which genre I want to do, whether it's a play or a teleplay or a screenplay, whether it would be episodic, whether it might be musical, because like we were saying, love musicals. Um, But yeah, I definitely want to continue the storytelling journey. And so right now I am in the hustle thick of it and hopefully have things to promote soon.
Yeah.
Cool.
Um, where can we find you on social media, TikTok, Instagram, all those things?
Sure, yeah, I'm Allison Siko on all of the different social medias. That's Allison with two L's and I, and then Psycho spelled Siko, all one word. So that's I've been trying to keep it as simple as possible so folks can find me. And I do have a website that I'm in the process of updating with some more info and pictures and clips and things that is just simply AllisonPsycho.com. And that's pretty much you type in my name. Like I have lots of cousins and some uncles. There are many psychos out there, but as far as I'm aware, I'm the only Allison psycho. So you type that in into the Googles, you pretty much can find me.
I love that.
Please, not in a creepy way, anyone. I please be respectful. Nobody come stalk me. I don't need
Yes.
that. Thank you
No.
so much.
Please do not do that. We are very against that kind of behavior.
Yes.
So
Thank
we do
you.
not
Yeah,
encourage it.
I appreciate everyone, sometimes from a distance.
Okay, well, thank you so much for hanging out with us and coming on the show.
Thanks for asking me. It's so lovely to chat with you both.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had the podcast for so long, but you are our first guest ever. So
Yay. Okay.
super exciting.
First of many, I hope.
I
We'll
hope.
manifest.
We're manifesting.
There we go.
Coley, is there
Good
anything
vibes all around.
before we wrap up?
What was that?
Is there anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Um, just that I'm incredibly happy and honored to have you on the podcast. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Hug through the screen.
Hug to
There
the
we go.
screen.
There we go.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We love you so much. Coley, I love you, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay, love you.
Blessed be.
Blessed be. Bye.